Okay, so this was my verse this morning. It was Colossians 3, and I had a chunk of it that was my verse. But what I do is I have my verse that I have during the day, and I go to the actual chapter of the book that it was. So, like, for example, my verse of the day, we're going to say, was Colossians 3, verse 12. And it'll be just that verse. Therefore, as chosen ones of Elohim, set apart and beloved, put on compassion, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, patience. Okay? So that's my little verse, and I usually will post whatever it is. But then I also go. So I will go and read the whole thing, right? It's good. So I'm going to continue. Okay? Chapter 3. If then you were raised with Messiah, seek the matters which are above, where Messiah is, seated at the right hand of Elohim. Mind the matters above, not those on earth. You see that? And I haven't highlighted this book in a while. I haven't read it in a while. So I'm definitely going to read it again. And there's a whole bunch of nuggets that I want to highlight. That's what I call it, nuggets. I don't know. It's like finding treasure to me, you know? It has deep meanings, and it will pertain to what is going on in my life. Because even though I've got Messiah, and even though I've got Elohim, it doesn't make things perfect, you know? There's always going to be struggles. There's always going to be something. But his word genuinely helps me navigate to not be a shitty person like I used to be. I don't ever want to go back there. I remember where I came from, and I know who I am. And I just remind myself, you know, it played out the way it was supposed to play out. And I made my choices the way I made my choices. And instead of, you know, beating myself in the ground and pretending to be stuck there, like I'm not. I'm not wallowing. I'm not perfect. 100%. But I do 100% also try to be better and conscious of what I'm doing. I question what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. Who am I doing it for? And if the reasons are selfish or fruitless, then I just leave it behind. Check out this guy. Apparently he wants to hang out. Look at him. It's a beautiful day out here. We're supposed to have some severe thunderstorms tonight and tomorrow, so hopefully it's not too bad. I'm just going to leave this guy here. Okay. Sorry. I talk a lot. Sometimes. I could go off on that more, but I'm not going to. Okay, chapter 3. If then you were raised with Messiah, seek the matters which are above, where Messiah is, seated at the right hand of Elohim. Mind the matters above, not those on earth. For you have died, and your life has been hidden with Messiah in Elohim. When the Messiah, who is your life, is manifested, then you also shall be manifested with him in esteem. Therefore put to death your members which are on the earth, whoring, uncleanliness, passion, evil desire, and greed of gain, which is idolatry. Because of these, the wrath of Elohim is coming upon the sons of disobedience. That's highlighted right there too. In which you also once walked when you lived in them, meaning me. But now also put off all these: displeasure, wrath, evil, blasphemy, filthy talk from your mouth. Do not lie to each other, since you have put off the old man, with his practices. Can't lie. And you know what? Me not lying to people has definitely caused me to lose people. But if I'm not honest, like, what am I? You know, what am I doing if I can't just be honest? If I can't take anything with me and I can't have everything in the world, like, what do I have if I can't even just be honest? Think about it. If you can't be honest with people and they leave you, what does that show you? They're probably not being honest with you, first of all, you know? And if they can't even be honest with you, what do they have you around for? Like, what is your purpose in their life? What fruit are you going to get from that? Just things I question myself, you know? Questions I ask myself. I'm going to go to verse 10. And have not put on the new one, who is renewed in knowledge according to the likeness of him who created him. Where there is not Greek and Yehudai, circumcised and uncircumcised, foreigner, Scythian, slave, free, but Messiah is all and in all. Verse 12. Therefore, as chosen ones of Elohim, set apart and beloved, put on compassion, kindness, humbleness of mind, meekness, patience, bearing with one another and forgiving each other if anyone has complaint against another. Indeed, as Messiah forgave you, you so also should. But above all these, put on love, which is a bond of perfection. Yo, come on. Right there. And let the peace of Elohim rule in your hearts, to which indeed you were called in one body, and to be filled with thanks. Let the words of Messiah dwell in you richly, teaching and admonishing one another in all wisdom, singing and pleasure in your hearts to the Master in psalms and songs of praise and spiritual songs. Yeah, music has power, and I've definitely changed my selection. If it's not uplifting my Father, and if it ain't good, if it ain't real, I don't listen to it anymore. There is power in music. Y'all should know that. And whatever you do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Master Yeshua, giving thanks to Elohim the Father through him. Wives, subject yourselves to your own husbands as it is proper in the Master. Husbands, love your wives and do not be bitter towards them. Children, obey your parents in all, for this is well-pleasing to the Master. Fathers, do not provoke your children, lest they become discouraged. Servants, obey your masters, according to the flesh in all respects, not with eye service as men pleasers, but in sincerity of heart, fearing Elohim. And whatever you do, do it heartily, as to the Master, and not to men. Yeah. I do what I do because I love him. And because I love him, I love you. Knowing that from the Master you shall receive the reward of the inheritance, as is the Master Messiah you serve. But he who does wrong shall be repaid for the wrong which he has done, and there is no partiality.